Good morning, kindergarten. So today we are continuing to read books about spring. Although lately it feels a lot more like summer than spring. Hopefully you've had time to go outside. Our book today is called A Grand Old Tree, and it's about the tree life cycle. So we've talked about the penguin life cycle. This is about a tree's life cycle. It's by Mary Newell de Palma. This is the cover. Once there was a grand old tree. Her roots sank deep into the earth. Her arms reached high into the sky. She was home to many creatures. Birds nested among her branches. Squirrels scurried through her leaves. Caterpillars and ladybugs crawled about. The grand old tree flowered. So in springtime, the trees start to have buds, which are little tiny circular, and they're green, and then this part of the flower, and then they become flowers, depending on what kind of tree it is. Bore fruit, so the flowers turn into fruit, which we saw in the apple life cycle. And sowed seeds. She had many children. So when the fruit falls from the tree, it falls to the ground, and then the seeds go into the dirt and become seedlings. So those are the baby trees. They changed the landscape for miles around, perhaps even farther than the old tree knew. So here we have some animals dropping the seeds way far off. The grand old tree lived a long, long time. She basked in the sun, bathed in the rain, swayed in the breeze, and danced in the wind. She grew and shed. So here you see the tree in each season. And it repeats, and the tree grows a little bit bigger. Many millions of leaves. At last, the grand old tree was very, very old. Her branches no longer swayed and danced, but cracked and snapped in the wind. So here we have the tree in fall, and here we have the tree who is becoming very old. Finally she fell, and snow gently covered her. So here we're at the end of the tree life cycle. The tree is lying on the ground. It's no longer alive, but we know that cycles always restart. So, the old tree died. She no longer flowered, bore fruit, or sowed seeds. So you have the old tree on this side, but look closely on this side. The cycle is restarting. But she was still home to many creatures. Raccoons nested in her trunk, centipedes crawled along her branches, and lichen grew on her bark. So even if the tree is dead, the animals are still using the wood. It's still useful. The grand old tree slowly crumbled. She became part of the earth. Today, the roots of her grandchildren sink deep into this earth. Their arms reach high into the sky. So she becomes dirt eventually after a long time. and her grandchildren, so all the seedlings that sprouted from her fruit are now growing, restarting the cycle. They are home to many creatures. So see, we're back at the beginning of the tree life cycle, just like the grand old tree. The end.